Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre on Monday issues an order vacating the dismissal of charges against alleged drug lords Kerwin Espinosa and Peter Lim. Aguirre says this means, quote, there is no dismissal anymore. He adds all parties are now free to submit or present their evidence. The move comes after the Justice Department came under fire for the surprise dismissal of the drug charges against Espinosa and Lim. A DOJ panel dismissed the charges against Espinosa and Lim because of supposedly weak evidence. President Rodrigo Duterte had named the two as big-time drug lords in the Visayas. The investigation will be handled by a new prosecution panel composed of Senior Assistant Prosecutor Juan Pedro Navera, Assistant State Prosecutor Ana Norin de Venadera, and Prosecution Attorney Herbert Calvin Abugan. Aguirre says Duterte told him that although there are rules, you should look at the pulse of the people. He also says the motion for reconsideration filed by the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group of the Philippine National Police is now considered moot because of a new investigation that will take place. Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez says Special Assistant to the President Bong Go will be part of ruling party PDP-Laban senatorial slate for the 2019 elections. Aside from Go, Alvarez says the Senate slate will also include Senate President Coco Pimentel, Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque, Oriental Mindoro Representative Reynaldo Umali, Davao City Representative Carlo Nograles, Maguindanao Representative Sahid Mangudadatu, Bataan Representative Geraldine Roman, and Presidential Political Advisor Francis Tolentino. Alvarez also previously mentioned the possibility of including Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Uson in the PDP-Laban Senate slate. Pimentel, who is PDP-Laban president, says Go still has the final decision if he will run, but he has a slot. He previously said Negros Occidental Representative Albi Benitez and House Majority Leader Rodolfo Fariñas will also be part of the slate. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre admits he met with Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea and the lawyer of alleged pork barrel scam mastermind Janet Lim Napo-les in Malacanang 2 or 3 weeks ago. Napo-les' lawyer Stephen David earlier said Medialdea gave him legal advice regarding her transfer from a regular jail cell in Camp Bagong Diwa to a safe house. Aguirre granted Napo-les provisional state protection last week. Aguirre says he told David a jail transfer must have the permission of the Sandigan Bayan, which is handling the non-bailable plunder charges against Napo-les. David supposedly wanted to overrule Aguirre, so he went to Medialdea. But Aguirre says Medialdea shared his position. David on Monday filed 3 motions before the Sandigan Bayan, supposedly upon the advice of Medialdea. But the executive secretary denies giving David advice. Medialdea says, quote, why would I give legal advice to a lawyer for his client? If I were his client, I will fire him. Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno defends her incomplete submission of statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth to the Judicial and Bar Council by saying that other Chief Justice nominees in 2012 did not submit all their sal-ends due. Sereno, in her comment on the warranto petition against her, says submission of sal-ends to the JBC was not an absolute requirement. She also lists other nominees for the post in 2012 who failed to submit to the JBC one or some of their sal-ends, including Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio, Associate Justice Teresita Leonardo de Castro, former Associate Justice Arturo Brion, and former Associate Justice Roberto Abad. Carpio, de Castro, Brion, and Abad were shortlisted for the Chief Justice post along with her. Sereno says, quote, they were considered to have substantially complied with the sal-end requirement, and hence were interviewed for the position. Solicitor General Jose Calida, in his warranto petition, said the Constitution requires that a member of the judiciary must have integrity. Sereno says determining the integrity of a judiciary member is a task constitutionally committed to the JBC. The SCN Bank directs Calida to reply to Sereno's comment within 5 days from notice. The International Commission of Jurists urges the Philippine government to reconsider what it describes as a hasty and ill-conceived decision to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. ICJ Secretary General Sam Zarifi says President Rodrigo Duterte's grounds for the Philippines to cease as party to the Rome Statute, the ICC's founding document, are poorly thought out. Zarifi says, quote, the submitted justifications for withdrawing from the ICC are a litany of poorly thought-out pseudo-legal arguments and self-serving statements that focus on President Duterte's fear and resentment at facing questions for the horrific campaign of extrajudicial executions that his government has explicitly condoned. Duterte last week alleged the ratification of the Rome Statute was fraudulent. The ICJ, composed of at least 60 distinguished judges and lawyers from all over the world, also warns Duterte that the withdrawal will reflect badly on the country's commitment to justice.